All right, Jennifer, we're live. So good afternoon to you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is John Nerrell. I help professionals who are ambitious about their careers create their next advancement opportunity. And my guest today is someone who has done that, as she recently just completed her doctorate in psychology with a specialization in organizational psychology. Would you please welcome to the show, Jennifer McClure. Hi, Jennifer.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. And, you know, Jennifer and I have known each other for, probably over a year now.
Yeah.
We met through my meetup, and you've been to a couple workshops of mine, and we've just gotten to talk a little bit more and more. And I asked her to be a guest on the show today because she is passionate about a concept called followership. So we often hear about leadership, and we talk a lot about leadership, but Jennifer really has a great way of pushing the conversation around what it means to be a good follower. And so that's why this show, which is show number 73 today, is all about defining followership. So thank you again for being here, and I'm excited for where this conversation goes today.
Me as well.
Great. So Jennifer, as we typically do, we welcome some people into the room. So Coach Ken, hi, it's good to see you. And we're welcoming a few more people into the room. So if you are new to the show, welcome. All of these Facebook Lives are archived on my Facebook page right here, as well as on my website at johnnerrell.com and my YouTube channel. And if you go to my website, I have a free offer there, especially for you. It's an e-workbook called 3 Steps to Creating Your Next Advancement Opportunity Without Feeling Overwhelmed. You'll simply click the link and fill out the form that is there. It'll not only download the e-workbook for you, but it'll also put you into my email community, where I email everyone each week about various leadership and career topics that include shows like this, so you can stay informed when we have new episodes available. So you can go ahead and click that link there. So as we get started, so Jen, you know, we couple things as we were talking, right? So a native Arizonan,
yes.
and you and your husband and daughter are now living here in the DMV, and so you went back to school and got your doctorate in psychology with this whole concept really focusing on followership and what that all means. So as we get started today, can you tell us very specifically what is followership and how you define it?
Sure. So yeah, you could do a quick Google search, right, and find a few definitions. I like Webster's because it talks about this willingness to follow a leader. A leader's not a leader without followers, and a follower the same. They really need that leader to get behind. So I like the term willingness because I think you choose to be a follower and choose who you want to follow. If you're not in the right, position with work, personally, you can change, find a different leader to go after. But it really is that willingness to get behind the leader and support their vision, because hopefully it aligns with your own as well. And, I know we talked a little, what does it look like?
Mm-hmm.
There's a great article out there by John McCallum, and it talks about traits of a follower, which the traits can really apply to a leader, anybody in any position. But they're having things like good judgment, having a good work ethic, right? Being honest, courageous, loyal, having some ego management, because sometimes it's hard to step down for a moment and be the follower and really follow a leader, because you have all your own ideas and agendas that might be coming to mind. But you got to be able to step that back for a moment and go, I've agreed to this common goal with this leader. I know this, I'm behind this leader's vision. I want to support it too. So I'm on board, and I'm going to help make that vision happen.
I love what you mentioned there, Jennifer, about ego management, right? So being a follower, it's about, I don't want to say checking yourself in some way, but really kind of understanding where your value is in terms of being a follower
Sure.
as we look at how we serve not only just the leader, but the organization as well. Would you agree with that?
I would. It's as much as we want to be, be heard in every which way. It isn't always about us, right? So, but if we signed up to be on board for that leader's vision, that organizational vision, we are kind of saying this is important to us too. This is important to me. I'll follow where you lead this direction.
Mm-hmm. And I loved how you just shared a little bit about some of the words that we might describe what a good follower is, or what it may particularly look like. But in your opinion, though, like, so why is it specifically important for people to be a good follower?
Sure. So again, a leader's not a leader without followers, right? And not one person can typically do almost any job by themselves. Mm-hmm. We need somebody to take the reins and lead. We need followers to help make a vision happen. So you're really helping be a part of that team to accomplish a goal, to accomplish the various tasks that are needed to be done. Sure, I have expertise in a few things, but not everything. Financial management's not my thing. But if I wanted to go lead an organization, I probably want a financial person on my team because of that expertise. So it's bringing all those different views, experiences, knowledge to the table to really make sure that that team operates at max capacity. And ideally, you have that leader with the vision to take all those different people on the team and make it happen. But as a follower, you essentially need to know your place in that team and how you can be supportive with what you know and can do for the team.
Right.
Yeah.
And so often we talk about how we show up energetically and professionally. And one of the strategies I coach people on when we talk about showing up is simply just to own where you're at.
Yeah.
And owning where you're at, especially in terms of a follower type role, can still be a pretty challenging and gratifying experience within that. I remember leading a team and we were getting ready for performance reviews, and I was talking to someone on my team who was just simply doing really, really good work. And I asked her what was her goal for the upcoming year, and she said to me, "My goal is to not get promoted." And I said, "Wow, tell me a little bit more about that." And she goes, "I can't handle it right now." And she dove into some personal stuff that was going on, and she had younger children that she just wanted to be around a little bit more for. And she said, "Look, I'm not saying a leadership role is out of the question. What I'm asking you is right now, just let me keep doing the work that I'm doing.
Do what I need, yeah.
Let me support you. Let me support the initiatives that are there. I will still pitch in and do as much as I can, but I do not want the pressure of a leadership role right now because I'm really valuable in this follower type role."
Yeah.
And I appreciated so much that she felt comfortable enough to tell me that, because when she did, I could protect her from that. So even though she was starting to be considered for promotion potential, to simply say, "Look, it's not the right time. And she's great where she is." And that just helped our relationship so much better. But to your point, there is such value in owning where you are at in any given moment.
There is, yeah. Knowing yourself, who you are. I think it goes back to some of those good traits of your own, of having some good judgment, being honest, right? In various ways, whether it's just your needs, what you can do, what you're struggling with, some courage sometimes to be vulnerable in that, right? Because that can't be always easy to say, like,
right.
Nope, I don't want that because I'm not in the right space for it at the moment. So
how do you define followership being actionable? In other words, like, what are some of the things that you would see that would be a good example of action for a follower?
Sure. So I think it's not sitting on the sidelines, right? Don't be the wallflower. It's digging into the work that's being done, right? You're following, but there's obviously that goal, that vision. So there's things to do. So step up and accept tasks. Now that can be hard. Sometimes you don't want the tasks you're given. So realize you're not always going to love everything that you got to, do this in front of you. But if you're on board, you've said, hey, leader, I'll follow your vision. Step forward then and take action. Do what's being asked of you. That can seem very simple, but we can let things get in the way. We question our own selves, the self-doubt, the I can't, or I don't know if I want to. That wasn't in my job description, right? That's easy to not be able to move past some of just our own challenges that we're having internally. So step forward. With that, though, comes knowing that maybe your leader doesn't always have the right answers. So you got to question them sometimes you have to step back and go, don't know if I agree with this. Can we try something different? And with that becomes offer some different solutions then. Don't just, well, I don't like this, or I don't want to do that because. Think of things to have in mind so that you can put something different into place and create some change, and realize that's even your opportunity to maybe build a little bit of your leadership self in that followership role. Start paying attention to what you can do, what you like about your leader, what you don't like. But we say actionable, that means action. You got to be doing something, not just, again, standing against the wall, listening and moving along when a meeting is over.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And I love that point too, right? I loved how you said not about sitting on the sidelines. So when you talk about leadership or talk about followership being actionable, what then, based on your experience and your research, constitutes this leader-follower dynamic that is not only just supportive and positive, but also really effective in any organization?
Sure. So I think communication, right? It's a big one. Ideally, you're not just meeting with your leader, being told what to do and then leaving. You're having a say in what you do. You're getting to share your ideas and your thoughts, and you're being heard from your leader. You're getting to maybe say, hey, I want to pilot this new program. It's really going to help meet our vision. And your leader says, great, run with it. So it's back and forth. It's not the leader's always right, the follower's always right. It's a working together process, and that really at the end of the day requires really solid communication. Both parties getting to share and give to whatever that conversation looks like. And study-wise, when a leader and follower are in congruence with each other, that's when they're really at their most effective, because they're working together so well that all those other puzzle pieces and things are just falling into place like they need to.
So let's stay on that for a minute if we can. Sure. So when you look at the roles of both the leader and the follower, what have you found to be an effective leadership trait or action that really aligns well with supporting and developing those who follow them?
Sure. So I think that goes back to asking your followers for input. It's not stepping up and saying, I have all the answers. Here's what we're doing. Do it my way or go, right? It's saying, here's what I would love to see us accomplish. Let's talk about how we can accomplish this together. Again, going back based on all our skills and our knowledge and everything that all of us bring to the table. So that input, I think, communication, right? And it's hearing their feedback. It's making sure that you can step forward and say, as a leader, I hear what you're saying. This might not be the right time for that, but maybe we can implement it down the road. So it's even letting them know they're being heard whether you can implement something now or later. And something I found interesting that I read about talked about making sure they have the right skills, right? That competence. So as much as you might want your followers, as a leader to do something, if they don't have the skills and you're asking them to do something and they're failing, whose fault is that? They weren't skilled, but you said do it anyways, and then it failed. Okay, so make sure that you're going to, group trainings together or giving them the resources they need to improve, or that could be the time off, right? In the working world, simply be the time off or the paid time to go, get that professional development. But if there's needs there that you need met, make sure everybody has got those skills for it. Giving credit, and credit I think is an interesting one, because it has to be given to not just individuals, but the team as well. Because typically, so hey, great, you got that report in, and everybody did their part. So as a team, we were wonderful, and everybody, you did a great job on your individual tasks. It's not always pointing out one person or another. Again, we're a team. We're working together. And even if it's just one leader, one follower, you're still a team doing it together.
Right. So, and that collaborative effort that it's
absolutely
everybody moving along on that shared mission, regardless of the role they have in that relationship.
Yep.
So just as things are coming up for any of our viewers today, feel free just to type a question or comment in the box, and we'll get to them in a moment. So if things are sparking a little interest, feel free to make a comment there. So Jennifer, we talked in prep for this interview about something called leader categorization theory. Can you tell our viewers today what that is specifically, please?
Yeah, I really like this. It did form a lot of the basis for some of my dissertation work. But in essence, we evaluate people and even ourselves, and we look at behaviors of people, characteristics of people, and we go, okay, I like, how you treated those customers when they came in, but you, Mr. Leader over there, you were rude, right? I didn't like that behavior. And then you start building all these traits, and you go, okay, my ideal leader, like, these are all the great traits, and this is how I would categorize leaders. And you even start categorizing specific leaders. So where the CEO of your company might fit in could be at the bottom of your categorization, and a frontline manager might be way at the top. Now, yes, there's a lot of perspectives, experiences that can go into how you categorize leaders. But at the end of it all, you're simply evaluating people for leadership and saying, I like this, I don't like this. And you create, and it becomes somewhat of like a subconscious and unconscious process to then how you categorize people in the future. You'll just automatically start like good leader, bad leader, good leader, bad leader, because you've just internalized all these wonderful traits that you attribute to a great leader. And it affects then how we, I guess, portray ourselves as a leader, but then who we're willing to follow, because the person we're willing to follow needs to have those traits that we attribute to an ideal leader.
So as a follow-up question here, as you think about leader categorization, where would you place, say, for example, a micromanager, for someone who doesn't really want to be micromanaged? Where would that kind of fit in, and how would that impact a leader-follower dynamic?
Sure. Yeah. So I can take myself for an example, because I don't like being micromanaged. I like some independence.
I mean, really, like, does anybody?
I hope not.
I hope I get micromanaged today. Right?
Yeah. I hope not, but again, everybody has their preferences, right? So yeah, so if I go and interview with a leader and that person talks a lot about how they need to control everything and they're going to need to see all my reports and approve everything, I'm probably going to go, you're not the leader for me, and I'm going to step back, right? Because I don't want to follow someone who, like, to me, that's a trust issue. Like,
Sure.
if you hire me for my skills, right? You shouldn't need to micromanage me. I've got the skills to do my job. Let me do my job and ask questions. So a trait like that for me, if you're you're going to be categorized really low, I'm going to hear anything linked to micromanagement and kind of be tuned out at that point. But somebody who needs more structure and guidance is maybe starting a new job, is really, new into working. Maybe they need that hand holding a little more. They might go, oh, I'm going to get a lot of help. I'm going to be solidly supported. And so this looks great to me now. But obviously over time with experience and just changes in perception, that will differ. So, yeah.
No, thank you. Thank you for that. So one of the things that I just really want you to share today too is going back to your dissertation, and you did some work specifically focusing on millennials, if I have it correct, right?
Yes.
In the workforce, and how millennials were changing the leader-follower dynamic.
Yes.
So can you share with us a little bit about what you found through your research and how millennials are changing this landscape a little bit?
Sure. So going back to some of that leader categorization and what people pay attention to in their ideal leader, theory has shown that we pay attention to visual cues and really what we're seeing. So I asked followers and employees who were reporting to a leader with tattoos, piercings, gauges, what did you think of that leader? What did you think of their ability to lead? And the millennials were like, we didn't even pay attention. I don't care. And I thought, okay, well, theory says that's a visual cue that, especially, tattoos, piercings, gauges, wherever they are, like that's visual. We're going to take that into account and use that to define if we like that leader or don't. And millennials are just like, nope, doesn't matter. So then there's my curiosity of how is that like going to change what theory says? And millennials are just like, what are they focusing on then? What is important to them in a leader? Do they want, somebody really more values them, right? Is sensitive to their needs, gives a flexibility is a huge one, not ability to work from home or take care of personal matters, work-life balance. But what really is important to millennials? Because what I would have thought was important based on my theory research didn't line up to then what I saw in my dissertation results. So it'd be a good study. Yeah.
Right. And just to peel back the curtain a little bit too. So you and I have had this conversation before about the value of our younger generation, our younger professionals that are in the workplace. And I think one of the interesting parallels we've seen in both of our work here is that, for me, what I often find is that there is such a strong value on how younger professionals connect that we need to be paying a greater attention to. So for example, if a younger professional, whether they be millennial, Gen Z, Gen Y, but if they are not connected to the work that they're doing, the mission of the organization, the people they're working with, the leaders to whom they're reporting to, if any of those things are disconnected, they are more inclined to jump and leave that organization quicker than we have ever seen.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and so especially here in the Washington, D.C. area, the job market currently is pretty good, where someone could leave if they are at a junior level, let's say, and the turnaround time for them to find a new job, as I last heard, was like somewhere in the scope of about 3 weeks on average.
Okay.
Find a new job at that like junior level. If you're a little bit more senior, it's understandably going to take a little bit more time. But I firmly believe, and this is to your point as well in this whole leader-follower dynamic, that if we are not paying more attention to how we are connecting, and we are ensuring that people are understanding what that connection looks like and how things are actionable, we are missing a big component in our talent and workforce development. And when they experience that disconnect, they leave.
Yeah.
And when they leave, they take the tens of thousands of onboarding dollars that you have spent investing in them, and they are now someone else's asset.
Yes. Yeah. And gosh, the cost of turnover, and it could be a whole nother segment, right?
Oh my gosh, absolutely. Yeah.
It really does cost more than I think people think about. And if it's, the tasks are always going to be there. The customers are always going to be coming in to, get services or products. But your people are typically what make that business function. Without your frontline staff, without your mid-level staff, without your top executives, keeping things moving, the business stops. But if all those people are working together, effectively, efficiently, put all those key terms out there, and they really have solid relationships that they know who they can go to, who's doing what, how they can be better, lead better, be a better follower, support the mission. All those pieces are in place with your people. The rest of it should fall into line. Okay. People are getting their tasks done. The customers are getting what they need and they're happy. The people that are making business happen, that relationship really makes or breaks it at the end of the day.
Well said. Good point. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, hey, Jennifer, we are getting close to time. So as we start wrapping up, as you know, I always ask my guests this question as we wrap up, and that is, what advice would you give someone who's watching today? What advice would you give them to help them create their next advancement opportunity?
Sure. And yeah, thinking about like our wonderful topic of followership today and everything we've discussed, I think being the follower that you'll need someday when you're leading is important. It gives you a moment to check yourself, right? Check your ego, your skills, your abilities, all of those good traits that we talked about from John McCollum's article. And then really when it's your chance to lead, the kind of leader you want to be as well, and the kind of followers you need to make your vision happen. So yeah, I think knowing and being that good follower now, kind of put your karma in a row too. Hopefully, yeah. Will be important.
But what a great way to simply promote some awareness, so you can know that fully down the road when you are in that leadership role, to know how you were a good follower in those moments.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you for sharing that. All right. So Jennifer, just if you would just tell people a little bit about some of the work that you're doing right now, and what's work like for you, and how can people get in contact with you?
Oh, sure. So slowly but surely trying to get into consulting for myself. I got, you offering me this opportunity, which I always appreciate, and some other good coaching friends that I've been able to do some work with, and I learn, myself as I really jump into the consulting world. But yeah, the best way is by email right now, Jennifer@McClureConsulting.org. I have started a little blogging on my McClureConsulting.org site, but would just ask that people be patient as I begin to fill my own content in. And if you have any questions, absolutely email me. I'm happy to answer and be supportive as I can. So.
Got it. And just to further clarify, so consulting specifically in what areas?
Yes, so leadership and followership development. Yeah,
great.
That's my passion. So that's what I'm going after.
Well, I wish you the best, and I am so glad that you and I have had a chance to grow our professional relationship over the past year or so, and just get to know you a little more. I'm a fan, and I appreciate your work so much, and I'm looking forward to just following your success in your own new advancement opportunity and where this grows. But I want to thank you so much today for being a guest, and for pushing a conversation today that we haven't really been focusing on this show specifically, which is what does it mean to be a good follower? So I want to thank you so much for coming on today. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right. So as we wrap up, again, if you've got any comments, feel free to post them on the YouTube page or the Facebook page where you're watching this. If you happen to watch this on YouTube, please give it a like and click the subscribe button so you'll be notified when new interviews and videos drop. And in the meantime, I will see you next week with another interview. And Jennifer, thank you so much again. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
All right. Have a great rest of the day, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.